Forget what you knew about real estate. What if I told you you could build a real estate income without owning a single property? High interest rates, skyrocketing home prices, buying property feels out of reach. But what if you could still break into real estate investing with minimal capital, flexibility, and explosive income potential? Welcome everyone, I'm Rachel with Lo-Casa, your guide to growing your income through creative real estate strategies. And today's topic is Airbnb rental arbitrage. So this is what you'll learn. Number one, why 2025 is an ideal time for this model, how to maximize earnings with furnished properties and interior design, key steps to getting started, plus common pitfalls and how to avoid them. Let's go ahead and break it down. The first thing we're going to talk about is just low entry cost. You can skip the purchase. The most obvious advantage is you don't need to buy a property. Getting into traditional real estate right now is tough. Mortgage rates are still high. The home prices haven't cooled the way many expected. That means bigger monthly payments, stricter lending requirements, and more risk if the market shifts. With Airbnb arbitrage, you bypass all of that. Instead of putting down 20% on a $400,000 property, that's $80,000 plus closing costs, you can lease a furnished rental, put down a deposit, spend a few thousand on upgrades or design tweaks, and be live on Airbnb in just a couple of days or weeks. This model is scalable, it's fast, and cash flow focused. You're controlling the property, not owning it, so you keep the upside with much lower upfront costs. Quick heads up, if you're planning to lease for Airbnb or midterm stays, you need to use the right lease language. We created a free corporate housing addendum that includes key clauses most hosts miss. The best part? It's free to download. Click the link below to grab it. Number two, competitive supply is dropping, and most people don't realize this, but the number of new short-term rentals entering the market is slowing down, especially in high-demand areas. Why? Because homeowners are sitting on the sidelines due to high prices and interest rates. Investors aren't buying as aggressively because of tighter cash flow. But guest demand? It's coming back. Travel is up, corporate and remote workers are on the move, and events are surging again. What that means is occupancy rates are climbing, especially for well-designed, well-located listings, and fewer new operators are entering the market right now, which gives arbitrage hosts like you a chance to grab great leases while demand heats up. Hey operators, if you're planning to invest in or operate short-term rentals, whether it's Airbnb, VRBO, or midterm stays, you need to know the local rules. What we've done at Lo-Casa is put together a totally free short-term rental regulation spreadsheet that shows you which cities and counties are host friendly and which ones not so much. You'll get a quick glance difficulty rating plus links to official resources so you can double check and stay compliant. The best part, it's completely free to download, no strings attached. Just click the link below to grab your copy and stay ahead of the game. Next, furnished rentals are everywhere. I remember when I was looking for my first ever place to live, I had wanted something that was fully furnished. This was back like 10 years ago, and I just remember it being so difficult to find a nice furnished rental that I could potentially rent long term to really live in for at least 12 months. But now it's like you go on Zillow or you go online and they're almost everywhere. Truly, we're seeing way more fully furnished units on the market than ever before. And it's really because landlords are trying to capture higher rents, they're trying to appeal to mobile tenants, or just had prior STRs that aren't actively being hosted anymore. So this is your golden opportunity. You can take an existing furnished property, improve the design, and list it for short or midterm stays. Even minor design tweaks like swapping out bulky furniture, adding warm lighting, or creating an Instagrammable corner can transform an average unit into a revenue machine. Next, you can maximize revenue through design. Here's where you separate yourself from every other bland rental online. Interior design. It's not just aesthetic, it's revenue driven. So you're creating not just a place to sleep, you're creating an experience. Travelers will pay more for a space that's thoughtfully laid out, has personality, and photographs well. So in many markets, design quality is the deciding factor between being fully booked or totally overlooked. Some of the different tips to stand out with design would be using bold accent walls or color palettes to stand out. You could create a work from home setup for digital nomads, even adding a local flair like maybe themed decor, and of course, taking pro photos. Good design is completely wasted without good pictures. With that, you can usually charge 20 to 30% more per night with elevated design, and your reviews will reflect it. Next, midterm rentals are the sweet sweet spot in 2025. With more cities cracking down on short-term stays under 30 days, a lot of operators are shifting to midterm rentals. Think 30 to 90 days. And this isn't a downgrade, it's often a sweet spot. So midterm guests like travel nurses, corporate relocations, or even remote workers, they're usually lower maintenance, they stay longer, and they pay well. So you're able to reduce your turnover costs, cleaning stress, and still earn more than you would with a traditional long-term tenant. Plus, midterms often fly under the radar of strict STR regulations. So that means more freedom and less risk. Quick tip, platforms like Furnished, Zillow Rentals, and even Facebook Marketplace can help you land reliable midterm tenants consistently. You can also list on Airbnb as both short and midterm by just adjusting the stay lengths seasonally. Lastly, the tools to scale are better than ever. You're not doing this with spreadsheets or sticky notes anymore. In 2025, the tech stack for Airbnb operators is incredibly powerful and affordable. Dynamic pricing tools like Price Labs or Beyond Pricing optimize your rates automatically. Smart locks and automation software let you run your properties remotely. Message templates and auto responses will save you hours every week. With all the different softwares and tools, you can operate multiple units with very minimal overhead. Some six-figure arbitrage hosts run their business completely solo or with one virtual assistant. In short, the infrastructure to scale is already built, you just need to plug into it. Now, some of the common pitfalls that you might want to avoid, and I think we did a completely different video on this, so if you haven't seen it, check it out, but I'll just run through them. So it would be ignoring local laws or regulations, so you're basically risking fines or forced shutdown. You'll always want to focus on compliance first. We also have an entire spreadsheet dedicated to the different cities that we've already searched in, counties, states, all alphabetical in order on a spreadsheet that we've broken down with rules, regulations, what it takes to get a permit, so many different things. So if you haven't seen that, if you haven't downloaded it, it's completely free. Go check it out. Another thing would be no landlord cooperation. So many leases forbid subletting. You'll want to secure approval in writing, as always. If it's not on paper, if it's not signed, doesn't count. And that's another resource that we actually have. So we have a corporate housing addendum. It's a one-pager. Again, always run it by your attorney. Always double check everything before you have it signed. But that is also free and downloadable. So you guys are able to utilize that on your future leases or agreements with landlords or representatives. Another thing is poor market research. So not understanding demand, pricing, or competitor saturation can lead to losses. You'll want to use data tools. And when I say data tools, yes, AirDNA, but not just AirDNA and plugging in the address and trusting that. You definitely want to run in-depth comps. If you need any information on running in-depth comps, we've done a completely different video on that as well that you can go and you can check out and see how you can run in-depth comps and confirm a property's projections without even needing the address, just a general location. Another one is cost mismanagement. So furnishing, maintenance, cleaning, rent hikes, you need tight budgeting and monitoring. Then we have seasonal or competitive pressure. Occupancy dips off in off seasons and it can hurt cash flow. So you'll want to mitigate that with dynamic pricing and hybrid midterm strategies. We do it all the time for our slower seasons in some of the different markets that we're in. Now that we've talked about common pitfalls, let's talk about some key success tips. Number one, start small. One property. Implement systems, refine your approach before scaling. There's always going to be properties to pick up. There's always going to be great opportunities, but it's best that you figure out the first one first and then continue to scale based on the systems and the approach that you've done previously. Another one, ACE guest experience. Quick responses, thoughtful amenities, and design will spark 5-star reviews and repeat bookings. Another thing you can do is combine short and midterm stays, so shift to 30+ days during low seasons to ensure occupancy and steady income. Lastly, and of course, keep learning. Monitor regulations, rent trends, and competitor listings. So there you have it, a low capital, high flexibility strategy powered by rebounding demand, mature tech, and smarter rental models. If you're ready to act before 2025 ends, start your arbitrage journey now. Want a step-by-step market evaluation or listing design tips? Head over to LoCasa.com or our YouTube channel for free resources, calculators, and support to help you capture your next arbitrage property with confidence. Don't wait, your arbitrage income journey starts now.